How's the pizza in space?
Pizza in space is amazing. I can attest to that because that's what we ate the first couple of days on orbit.
But it was
Seriously?
cold.
I'm absolutely serious. We had cold pizza that we had in space.
That's amazing. So welcome, everybody. I am Tesa. I'm from the Bankless DAO community. I'm the Fightclub coordinator. If you want to know what Fightclub is, check out Bankless DAO. And now we're going to talk about community DAOs. And no better person to start it off than Snax and PizzaDAO.
Hey. So we're PizzaDAO, and that means that we serve pizza, literally and figuratively. And so we ask ourselves every day, what does pizza want? And I think it's clear it wants to be eaten. So we try and help pizza in its quest to be eaten, and we do that by making sure that it is good and cheap or even free. And we think pizza should be free, and that's because scarcity is a myth, money is an illusion, and it's all distribution problems. We're building Web3 technology, it's distribution technology. So let's keep our eyes on the prize. Pizza should be free.
Now you see all the really smart astronaut people are nodding their head along with that. So do you guys agree with this?
Absolutely, because I orbited the Earth 47 times eating pizza, so I think it should definitely be free. And when we think about the idea of doing good, not only on our planet, as an astronaut, my motto is solving for space solves for Earth, and there's many ways that we can do that. And so I was very fortunate to be part of the inspiration for first all-civilian mission to orbit. Does anybody here or see the Netflix series? Would anybody go to space here? If given a chance, who wants to go to space?
Everybody.
Yeah. And so I was really lucky in the fact that I got selected to be part of this mission, SpaceX, and was not only selected but got to be the pilot for the mission. And along with that, I'm an artist and a poet, and that's how I won my spot in space. And so when going up into knowing that I was going to go to space, I worked with Subtractive, Kyle here, and his company to bring NFTs to space. And so one of the things that we did was we brought the Cosmic Pause, first 101 Cosmic Pause generated with me as an NFT to space. Thank you. And then we also, again, solving for space, solving for Earth. One of the goals of our Inspiration 4 Million was to raise $200 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And so what we did was, while we were on orbit, with the help of Subtractive and Origin Protocol, we launched an NFT for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital that brought in over $400,000 with one of ones that were for auction that were space themed. I'll let them tell more.
Well, if you're wondering the connection, you're probably like, PizzaDAO and space, where's the connection? Well, there is a connection. We met in New York at NFT NYC, and their panel was so great. And we were right after them. We just became fast friends. And then there was obviously the pizza and space connection as well. But with the St. Jude auction, it was a very quick time frame. We had to hit up artists we'd never talked to or never met before, and we had a huge ask. We're like, can we have a one of one, and can we give 100% of those proceeds to charity? And 50 artists stepped up and said yes, like without much resistance. And when you're doing a project and there's flow and it's just kind of going, to put together this with Origin Protocol, we tapped them on the shoulder because they had the infrastructure in the back end ready to go. It would have been impossible in the time frame to build up that. But then we had the support of SpaceX, Inspiration 4, and St. Jude, who all helped promote it and got the word out, along with the collectors and people associated with Origin Protocol, which allowed us to raise over $400,000 in 3 days. So.
At PizzaDAO, we say that art already sells everything. So in this case, right, they cut out the middleman between art and research, healthcare research for children. And in PizzaDAO, right, we cut out the middleman between art and pizza. So it's an art to pizza pipeline. This is an art to research pipeline. And artists have so much power, right? Because they can, like, every piece of art increases the money supply in a real way.
So let me ask you guys, you have this art, you have this pizza. How did you help newcomers join your communities, right? People who have never bought an NFT before. How did you build your communities? You want to start on that side? But Origin guy. Yeah.
Oh, sure. So one amazing thing is that this panel is also the positive impact of NFTs. Because we've seen NFTs really enrich a lot of people, enrich a lot of communities, but beyond the monetary aspect, what can we do with this technology? What can we do with Web3, with community that hasn't been done to scale before? So for both of these entities, these are the two, in my opinion, two of the most impactful communities, organizations in the NFT ecosystem that I've seen. PizzaDAO raising over $1 million through the sale of pizza NFTs, giving away over $300,000 of pizza on May 22nd of this year, and it was so nice. We're going to do it twice. We're going to do it again next year, and then of course Kyle Subtractive, Dr. Sian, Proctor, Space NFTs, raising almost $500,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. This is real world money that has a real world impact because of NFTs. And this is something that I'm incredibly honored to be a part of. And it was just because of these very strong missions, to relate back to the question, that allowed these different communities to attract the people in, that is really different than I think maybe from the DeFi element. Whereas with the DeFi community, you're all into pump a token, you're all in for personal wealth building reasons. But if that wealth element leaves, oftentimes you'll see the community disperse. But irrespective of wealth, you've seen the space community, you've seen the positive impact community, the pizza community, stay into these communities regardless of price. Price is no longer the main thing anymore. It's the mission and it's the purpose.
I would tack onto that to answer your question of how we brought new people in. Mm-hmm. We made a Polygon token that was Dr. Sian Proctor's idea of an animated. Every mission in space has a mission patch. I think you're. Do you have one? No. But so we animated it and made it a Polygon token, and we made that available on Origin Protocol for $4 with a credit card. We figured that price point was something people are like, sure, why not? And we sold over 63,000 of them. In 3 days, which we were not expecting. But that was, and most of those people being brand new to the community, but they can now say they have an NFT.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that is so much easier of an onboarding process than ours. Because, our website, we sell them, it's on ETH, it's MetaMask. Some people we got to use Rainbow. But, I think our onboarding process, one fun thing that we did was all through the spring, we were doing proof of pizza. And so you could order pizza and then post your receipt to Twitter, and we would reimburse you in Ethereum. So a lot of people got their first Ethereum by buying pizza for themselves. So that's one way that I think we helped onboard people to the blockchain. The other way is that we have 314 artists on our pizza. So there are 314 toppings, and let me tell you, after about 100, they start not making much sense. So we have a lot of things that you would never expect to see on a pizza, let alone want to eat on a pizza. But many of those artists, this is their first foray into the NFT space. And so not only did we give them their own rare pizza NFT, we also gave them 0.1 Ethereum. So we used the CSV airdrop function on Gnosis Multi, on the Gnosis Multi-sig save, highly recommended, and low gas fees, and we sent everybody their 0.1 ETH. So all of those artists now are on the blockchain. That said, some of them did give us exchange wallets. And so if you're gonna give someone an NFT, make sure it's not an exchange wallet, because then they have to email the exchange has to send the NFT somewhere else. It's a whole pain in the ass. But in general, the mission is what onboards people. It's about space, it's about research. For us, it's about pizza and public goods and open source. And so we just say pizza should be free a lot, and then we say pizza, and then we say pizza some more, and that gets people pretty intrigued.
So that's a really great point, that the onboarding process for new people into NFT or even crypto is so difficult. How is Origin Protocol helping with that? Are you trying to solve the problem of, bringing people in if they don't want to just sign up for a CeFi exchange, something else like that?
Origin Protocol, we have OGN, which is our governance token. We also have OUSD, which really is trying to bring more traditional finance people into the DeFi space, and that you're going to be able to get a yield on your token just by putting your money someplace. So for a lot of people that are newer to staking or newer to like yield farming or not familiar with it, this is just a simple way to onboard. And then most recently, we launched Story.xyz. So if you guys want to sell NFTs without gas fees initially, you can go to the website, you can sign up, you can put your NFTs on there. You only pay the gas fees when it sells. So for this, we're opening up the platform, we're opening up the ecosystem to a lot of artists who may have been restrained because of minting costs. We really want to uplift as many people as possible, especially artists, because for artists that are coming new into the space, it may be an unfamiliar space and they may not be willing to put hundreds of dollars into an Ethereum NFT. They may be exploring side chains, which may not have the same ecosystem of collectors. So for us, it's to support all of you guys that are in this room, support the community, not just in Ethereum, but across the Web3 ecosystem, to make sure that you guys have access to the tools, to the money, to the resources that you need to be successful in this space. Because when the people on this stage say we're all gonna make it, like we really mean it. We don't just say that as a meme or as a token. We sincerely mean that from the bottom of our hearts.
That's great. Once you guys had your communities, 3 days to build this awesome community, have you had a difficult time maintaining it? How do you interact with your community now that you've built it?
I'm going to let you take that one.
Can we switch to the slides and go to the second one over there? Is that possible? Well, within the artist community, we went ahead and created nft.goingtospace.com with the intention that people that were super into art in space, astronauts who are inspired to do art after they come back from space, we then build upon that. And you can see here that Dr. Sian Proctor, this was a painting that she did in space while she was in orbit for 3 days. And in a second, you should talk about what that process is like, because I'm sure it's very interesting to people. But to answer that, that question, it's in process. So like we've got the 50 artists that donated, and now we'd like to reciprocate to them to give them a platform and carve out nft.goingtospace.com as sort of the premier space art curation online. And we've got several astronauts, so we're sort of, by 2022, we're here doing an auction at the Sagamore on Thursday that is a one-of-one piece that Dr. Proctor did. And then some open editions and things like that. So we're sort of relaunching what we did in September here.
That's awesome. Do you want to go into your process of painting in space? That must be really difficult.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising. I knew that one of the things that I wanted to do was to go up and to be able to take markers and paints with me. And I'm not the first astronaut to paint in space, but really document the process of how you do that. And so the watercolor that I created, the big thing is anything that you let go of floats away, including yourself. And so you really have to think about your materials and how you're going to be able to put the materials together so that they stay secure. So SpaceX and I worked on creating that palette board that you see where everything is Velcroed in to this case, including the water pen that I'm holding. And so another thing is water. Water will float away and it forms bubbles and stuff. And so I had to use preloaded water pens. So if you know watercolors, you can buy paintbrushes now that you can fill with water. So SpaceX and I worked on coming up with a whole bunch of different paintbrushes, all filled with water. And then it's surface tension. And so I squeeze the water out to the tip of the brush, and the surface tension will hold it there unless I fling it or do something, which SpaceX was like, don't do that, because they didn't want the Dragon capsule coming back painted.
Graffitied.
Yes. And so they were concerned about this whole process. But then, it's very much similar to painting at home in the sense that through surface tension, I could go to my palette, swirl it, the water onto the watercolor, and then it would, again, stick to the tip of my bristles, and then go and apply that to the canvas. But the interesting thing is anytime you put energy in, and it can be just a little bit of energy, it's going to push you. Newton's force equal an opposite force. So anything you do causes you to move. And so you really have to kind of anchor yourself, get your feet in the feet holds, push your body up against something as you're painting and going through this process. And anybody who's interested in this, you can see on my YouTube channel, Dr. Sian Proctor, that I did a time lapse of me painting that piece while in orbit.
I can speak to the community question a little bit. So we started in February. I guess PizzaDAO's website, it was a Google slide. It went live in January, but then Rare Pizzas, the project started on February 18th, and it was really early in this cycle. I mean, we were right after Hashmass, before CyberCongs, and so our community came out of Clubhouse, and it grew really quickly, and it got to we had several thousand people in the Discord after like a week or two, and then we released our NFT a month later, so we raised 300 ETH a month after forming this organization, which was crazy. and then 2 months after that, we spent $340,000 on pizza, and it was a tremendous effort of the community. 100 people calling pizzerias, doing interviews, just all the business logic, paying, getting bank accounts set up. Selling the NFTs themselves, just a huge effort, and keeping everyone in sync. It mostly happened in Discord, but we definitely hit plateaus of, like there was a certain point, I think in April, where everyone realized that, oh crap, this is actually really hard. We have to make an LLC. We have to hire a lawyer. We have to do accounting. And all the artists, who had many of them already done their topping art, were kind of like, see you later. and they went and they started the Ranch DAO, a lot of them, and which was awesome in its own right, and raised money for healthcare for a few different causes. But keeping the community engaged and active it's a constant, it's a constant stream of information that you have to put out. There's this stack. It's Discord, it's Twitter, it's Clubhouse, we have a Reddit, but we don't use that much. But it's a Medium is actually a really important part of the stack, and you have to share all of those things like through the Twitter. The Twitter is kind of the mouthpiece, and then the Discord is for the people who are actually doing stuff, But information is really hard. I mean, text messages and emails are still the strongest signal strength communication. It's crazy, right? And it's because they're expensive a little bit, at least in the case of text messages. But we're going to see Polygon spam, become very low signal strength, right? As it comes in and it's hidden automatically. So Web3, building a DAO, right? Most DAOs, they're not decentralized, they're not autonomous, and they're not that organized. I'd say we're relatively decentralized, somewhat autonomous, and not very organized. But it's all about communication and about community management. And it can be done. It takes a lot of coordination. And we're all here to slay Moloch, right?
Okay, so now that you guys have your DAOs, what's your next steps? I think this is the biggest question, because you're the leaders of this DAO, but the DAO has a say and controls itself. So where do you kind of see the DAO and the group going?
So going to space is not a DAO. PizzaDAO is a DAO. So
We might be.
I'll take it.
Someday.
It should be, maybe.
Pizza Space DAO
Pizza Space DAO.
with a side of ranch.
Sounds pretty cool.
Forget the ranch. Hold the ranch.
So the goal of PizzaDAO to serve pizza and to act in pizza's interest, we want pizza to be free, right? But on the way to pizza being free, we are building an open source pizza franchise, an independent open source. We call it a franchise. And the point of doing that is that the whole stack that pizzerias use is software, and it's owned by large companies. And they extract money from these small restaurants that are just doing business, right? Caviar, or now DoorDash owns them, right? Grubhub, Uber Eats, they're taking 20 or 30% off the top from these restaurants. And there's just no reason that that should be happening. And so we can build open source delivery co-op software. We can deliver it to all the pizzerias in our network. And that will really save some of their businesses, and it will make a big difference. So that's the first part of the stack, right? But guess what? There's payroll, there's the website, there's inventory, there's accounting, and we're gonna build that, all of it, open source. It's gonna take time. It could be, 5, 10 years, right? We're gonna build all this. And the thing is, if you build open source software for pizzerias, it turns out most businesses run pretty similar stacks. So we will have built open source software for every business. And it will be Web3 native. So the kind of end goal here is that every pizzeria in our network, and potentially any business that chooses to use this software stack, can do an exit to community. They can tokenize their business, and they can get 10, 20, 50, whatever percentage of equity that they want to get out and have some liquidity, they can sell to their community. So imagine a pizzeria, right? You say, hey, would you like to get 20% of the value of your business out and know that the only people you're beholden to are your customers, your community, maybe your employees? I think the answer is going to be, where do I sign up? And so that's kind of the long-term vision of the DAO. But we're a DAO, so if you have ideas that you think PizzaDAO should be doing, like join the Discord, post in the ideas channel, and we might DAO it.
We're gonna DAO it.
We're gonna DAO it.
And one of the largest drivers of the pizzerias that we wound up picking to give money to was really the DAO members. The DAO members would get recommendations of their favorite pizzerias in their cities, where they wanted to see pizza. We try to have pizza on every single continent in the world. We even tried calling Antarctica. We researched it. We found out there's a research station. You can't buy pizza, but they make pizza in that station down there. So one day on Pizza Day next year, we're gonna try and figure out how to get them involved in Pizza Day as well. We did it in over 60 countries. And the real backbone of the PizzaDAO, it comes down to integrity. Because from the launch in February, we didn't have the reveal until recently, almost 10 months later, 9 months later. But the thing is, people never thought the project was gonna be a rug. Because of the active involvement of the people in the community, because of how we were very transparent, because of how we communicated, from beginning to end, people knew that we were gonna deliver a fresh, hot, steaming pizza, and really we did. And initially, when the project first started, projects aren't always launched perfectly. I remember people would send their ETH into the project, and it would just kind of go nowhere because everything wasn't set up yet. But people didn't get discouraged. They stuck with it. They helped each other out. As a community, we became stronger together through trials and tribulations. And PizzaDAO is where it is because of the people in it. So PizzaDAO is also a people DAO. And as we talk about, just the space of people doing amazing things, just transition over to Kyle real quick. That's all you had.
Well, I was going to say, like, a DAO is very interesting to us, and it's something we might evolve into. And it's great to know people like Snax that are sort of at the forefront going through those battles, because as we did our own projects, to echo what he just said, was communicating at a high frequency all the time requires effort and time and money and energy. And we learned that a little bit the hard way. We had done, I think, CosmicPause.io, that when we were building it, it was celebrating the 70th anniversary of the first dogs in space. So again, we wanted to take a piece of history and put it on the blockchain. And some of our community, one of their biggest things is win DAO, win DAO, win DAO. And we're just like, well, we're gonna take logical steps and learn from our colleagues like Snax, and hopefully not be. I mean, we all know that NFT time is like nanoseconds compared to regular time, and that's where the impatience lays in. But just like space exploration, these are huge milestones that take a lot of thought to get to a logical end. So that's what we wanted to do. And Dr. Proctor, you want to talk about your mutts, because like what we did introduce outside of DAO was a random generator that no one had seen, because we put the random generator up front, so you can actually pull the traits yourselves and make what you want, and then mint it to the blockchain. But Dr. Proctor is a master.
So I'm a big fan of CosmicPause.io because being a SpaceX astronaut and a dog lover, and knowing the history that dogs have played in the advancement of human spaceflight. And then again, this is the whole idea of taking real tangible things that we know about and then using them in the blockchain and as NFTs, and bringing awareness to things that are either happening on Earth or have happened on Earth. And so Cosmic Pause is all about looking at the role dogs have played in the advancement of human spaceflight. And so for me, I was very keen on being a part of that. And then who doesn't like a dog in a spacesuit? And so I have what I call my wolf pack. And so I have my collection of Cosmic Pause NFTs that I've generated, and I've taken the time to go through the generator. It's kind of like going to Vegas, but you're spinning up dogs in spacesuits and minting them. But it's an amazing kind of process of thinking about the history, but also having fun with the creativity and what you can do when you bring those two things together. And so I'm really excited about my partnership with Subtractive and where we're going to go in the future with this. To the moon and Mars and beyond.
Moon, moon.
Moon to the moon.
Well, that's it for this panel. Thank you guys for staying, for eating some pizza and hanging out. Hand the stage back over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And watch the Netflix series.
Wonderful.
Countdown.
Yes. Watch the Netflix series, eat pizza, and love dogs. That's all you really need to know in this.